In one of our previous videos, we talked about the 9 generals and admirals who attained the prestigious 5-star rank, and many of you were quick to point out that we left 2 very important generals off our list, General George Washington and General John Pershing. Now, I'm here to tell you exactly why we left them off that list. Hi, I'm Tim with the Connecticut National Guard. Stick around as we discuss what some have called the 6-star general and the confusing history of our nation's highest military station. If you're wondering why you've never seen or heard of a 6-star general, that's because the rank doesn't actually exist. Kind of. The title General of the Armies of the United States, or just General of the Armies, was created on March 3, 1799 to elevate Lieutenant General George Washington to a station higher than all other military officers. However, President John Adams never appointed Washington to the position, and the law creating the rank eventually lapsed in 1802. In 1866, Congress revitalized the office of the General of the Armies, but instead called it the General of the Army when honoring Ulysses S. Grant with a promotion to 4 stars for his successful command of the Union Army during the Civil War. This made General Grant the first 4-star general in U.S. history. During World War I, John Pershing and Peyton March were promoted to a 4-star General of the Army's rank under temporary emergency wartime commissions to command troops on the Western Front. At the war's end, President Woodrow Wilson asked Congress to make both Pershing and March's 4-star appointments permanent. However, due to friction between Congress, Pershing, and March, only Pershing's appointment remained and March was demoted back to Major General. In 1944, the War Department blessed off on the creation of a 5-star rank to be used in World War II, with the only caveat that the rank could not be called General of the Armies because that rank was reserved for General Pershing only. So, to make things clear as mud, Congress created the 5-star rank with the name General of the Army. Because of the stipulation that the General of the Armies would always be the most senior officer, the creation of the 5-star rank has risen debate about whether Pershing would thus become a 6-star general. One of the cool perks about being this senior general officer is that you can actually design your own insignia for the rank because one was never officially created. So, in theory, Pershing could have worn 6 stars, or he could have worn 50 stars, but in the end he opted to continue to wear the 4 stars he had worn throughout World War I. So what about Washington? Our first president never wore more than 3 stars on his uniform because of President Adams' failure to appoint him to the higher position. But some believe that his role in the creation of our nation made him worthy to outrank all other generals ever. So, during America's bicentennial celebrations, a joint resolution was passed to posthumously promote General George Washington to the rank of General of the Armies, with the caveat that no other general, past, present, or future, would ever outrank him. And so, Washington and Pershing remained the only 2 General of the Armies for almost 50 years. In 2022, the annual National Defense Authorization Act for 2023 posthumously authorized General Ulysses S. Grant to the rank of General of the Armies, restoring his position alongside Pershing and just subordinate to Washington. And that is a quick, cumbersome story about the 3 highest-ranking general officers in U.S. history. Do you think General March should have also retained his rank alongside Pershing? Do you think anyone else deserves this rank? Let us know in the comments. And if you liked this video, please click that subscribe button and check out these other videos we think you might like on your screen now. Thanks for watching.